Let me tell you about a situation I had with a squatter in one of my rental properties. So I had a Section 8 tenant who had been there for almost 10 years, long-term stable situation. She eventually moved out, but her boyfriend, who had been around on and off, decided to stay in the house. Now, technically, under DC Housing Authority rules, he wasn't authorized to live there. But in reality, that doesn't always mean the situation can be resolved quickly. So now I've got a squatter in the property, no lease, and I'm also trying to sell the house. And the conditions weren't even great, no electricity. And since the water bill was in my name, I had turned the water off, but he still stayed. Over the next couple of months, things became difficult. There were times where he would ask me for money while I was trying to manage the property, even in front of a potential buyer. And if I didn't cooperate, it would slow things down or make access to the house harder. At one point, I did give him some money, but I tied it to small tasks like cutting the grass or helping around the property just to keep things somewhat productive. I also started recording interactions when I went into the house just to document what was going on. He didn't like being recorded, but when officers were present, they made it clear, this is my property and I have the right to record inside it. There was also another situation that really stood out. I was doing work in the house and tried to remove an old refrigerator that I had purchased. I even had the receipt. He stood in the doorway and said it belonged to him. When officers came, even with proof, they advised that removing it in that moment could escalate things and recommended handling it more formally. That's when it really hit me how complicated these situations can get. At one point, I tried a different approach. I invited him out to get food. He liked Nigerian food, so we went to Silver Spring for a few hours. While we were out, I had contractors come in to secure the property, boarding windows and changing locks, but that still didn't fully resolve things. So eventually I took a more structured approach with police present. They asked him for a lease. He didn't have one, but he did show mail with his name on it, which can complicate things in DC. So instead of going through a long legal process, we came to a mutual agreement. In front of officers, we agreed that I would give him a small payment and he would leave voluntarily. We recorded the agreement. The next day, with officers present again, he gathered his belongings and left. I sent the payment electronically, and that closed the situation. And from that point on, if he came back, it would be considered trespassing. And this really shows how squatter situations can work, especially in places like DC. Even without a lease, if someone can show they've been staying there, like receiving mail, it can take time to resolve through formal eviction processes. That can mean court filings, delays, and months before you can move forward. So sometimes the most practical solution is the one that gets things resolved quickly. In my case, that allowed me to secure the property and move forward with the sale. Big takeaway for me. It's not just about your tenant, it's about the full situation around the property.
Stop doing Stop doing that shit. Stop this recording shit, or this shit is over with. Get the he filled the thing. As soon as he seen the field certificate, this guy ran out into traffic crying like a baby. So I know he has a mental thing. That's what I'm saying. There's no way I should be arguing with this mental basket case.
So there's no reason to argue, there's no reason to name call.
I want him to go give me my. You'll put it on recording. If you go give me, the police officers are here. My $80 that you gave me yesterday, I had to spend, idiot, because you bought it up the shit before the right day, Thursday. And then the $50 that your guys took, they don't know Jerome guys took that shit. So you owe me $130. Within these officers right here, you can bring them back tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. I will be gone. I understand English language. I understand English language very well.
Yeah, if you come back after that, we'll be unlawful entry.
Of course.
Okay.
You always have something funny with it. I don't trust, even if he says good morning, I have to look at my watch just to make sure it's not right.
Let's speed this up.
Instead of him sending it, he's videotaping. You see what he's doing?